everybody, this is Just Rally as I share with you, Just Rally as I share with you another breeding another breeding video. Well, kind of sound weird in Jamaica when they say breeding. That connotation is just not right. Okay, I share with you how you actually get cory catfish to actually breed within your aquarium space. Now, cory catfish is bottom dwelling fish. It not normally hovers and digs at the base of the aquarium substrate. Now, if you want your cory catfish to actually breed, these are some of the steps that I've been using over the years so as to breed cory catfish. Footnote here, I currently don't have any cory catfish, so you might ask yourself, so why am I doing this share and I don't have any cory catfish? I have bred them in the past, I have bred and sold them in the past, but now I don't have any, but I still felt the urge to share with you how I go about breeding Corydoras catfish. Okay, yeah, Corydoras catfish. Alright, so I live in the tropics and we have two distinct seasons. We have the wet season and the dry season. You can breed Corydoras catfish easily in the wet season. However, in the dry season where it is hot, there are some tricks and trades that I normally do use so as to get my Corydoras catfish to actually breed. Now, first thing to note, you will need at least 2 females. In some cases, 1 female can do, and you need to have more than 1 male. Corydoras catfish, they like to be in groups of 5. So for you to actually get them to spawn, you will need a space where in which I prefer not to have an aquarium with substrate, right? I prefer to have a bare bottom aquarium with only the cory catfish in that space, and I'll share with you the reason why in a bit. Now, Corydoras catfish, they will perform what you call orgies. Yes, orgies. So the female will go together with 2 males. They will form like something like a between an I or a Z, depending on how you look at it, right? So a male would be like one. The female will be straight within the aquarium, right? And one male will be lying across the mouth of the female, while one lying across the tail of the female, right? They will stay like this for a while, right? I am not 100% sure as to the dynamics. I am not reading any literature. I am not doing any research because this is something that I have done over the years, right? So I'm like, I've done this already about between 5 to 6 times already. Okay, so when you see your Corydoras catfish starts to form the letter Z, is it Z or I? Have that little orgy looking thing, head and tail, all of that. Yeah. I hope YouTube don't ban me for that, right? For saying that, right? You know that they are in spawning mode. Now, the female will normally look very fat. The male is normally slim in size and a little bit smaller in length than the female. Now, what I do in the summer so as to get, well, I should make this known before I talk about the summer. A Corydoras catfish, they prefer to breed in cool climate. So whenever it is very cool, you'll find that your Corydoras catfish will actually lay the eggs much quicker. So you'll get more brood, you get more babies during the rainy season than during the dry season. Okay, during the dry season that is very hot, a lot of sunshine, there's no rain to cool down the place, right? What I normally do, right, in identifying that the female is fat, and to get them into that mood where in which they will actually go and do their thing, right? I normally set a container with ice, usually like about 25 to 30 something gallon, can do. You might say that this is a very huge aquarium, but you know, it works out well when you have a huge space to work with, and you will see the reason why in just a bit. Okay, so I normally set a container in the in the refrigerator, right? So it gets, you know, solid ice, and that's during the warm period. Sometimes you might do it in the cool period because the time might be cool, but it's not that cool to actually bring on the moment, the horny moment for those corridors, right? And then you actually put that ice, whether it be in a bag or in a container, in the aquarium so it will float on the top. And what that will do, it actually cools the temperature, cool the water temperature, yeah. And you do this overnight, right? And as soon as you see them start to form in the tea, you pay special attention to those Corydoras catfish. Uh, so within a couple of hours, what you will see them lying still for a bit, and then after a while you will see the females. They will start to place some white, glossy looking balls like you know, items on the glass of the aquarium. Right now, when you see this, after they have actually placed everything there and thing, give it a few minutes, not hours, a few minutes. Try to remove the all the corridors from that aquarium space, right? All of those balls that you see the corridors have actually placed on the aquarium glass are baby, well, should I say, are eggs, right? Now, if you don't remove the babies, well, if you don't remove the adults, what will happen is that after, you know, the temperature have actually subsided, you know, the time have actually, you know, the mode have actually ended, they will all come back and they will actually consume the eggs. Now, you remove the parent, place them into a different container. Now, when you place them in a container, do not, regardless of how you might see the fries swimming after they have hatched and all that, regardless of how you might see the fries swimming, do not put the parents in that space. The parents, I have actually experienced parents actually chasing fries, tiny Corydoras catfish fries, and actually consuming it. It's just so horrific. I could not do anything, right? So you let them stay by themselves. Now, remember, as I said before, the space is large, right? Bear in mind that each tiny ball placed on the aquarium glass represents, or should I say, is a potential fry, Corydoras fry. And a Corydoras catfish probably can place about 50 or more, depending on the size of the Corydoras. Of those little small, it look like some small eggs, like, but it's glossy, right? They can put probably about 40 to 50 of those on the glass and all over the aquarium. So when you remove the adults and the fries are free swimming, what will happen is that the fries will have enough space to actually swim. Now, I should have spoken about this before I talk about the whole breeding process of the Corydoras catfish. Now, so as to ensure that your fries, when they become free swimming, they are not caught up into the overhead, the hang on the back, you know, the thing that pulls the water out, and you know, the circle hang on the back, you know, the hang on the back feature, right? I would not actually try to breed my Corydoras in an aquarium with a HOB. I would prefer to use either a sponge filter or just place some air stones in the water for the time being until they color up. Oh, I should point this out to you. Corydoras catfish, even practically every catfish, once they start becoming free swimming, they don't really get their colors until a few days, if not weeks after. So they're gonna look white, right? They're gonna look white and they're gonna look as if they're not moving, but they are alive. Once they, you know, change position, because sometimes they might die and they don't float, But you know, you checking the right way, you will realize that they are alive. Corydoras catfish are fun to breed, and if you follow the steps, you'll find that it is very easy, easier than even breeding some difficult cichlids that you might have within your position, right? The trick of the matter is that you should time the temperature, ensure that the water is cool, the water is clear, there is no tank mates, because tank mates, just like the corridors chasing the fries, the tank mates will actually chase the fry around the aquarium to consume it, right? I try my best not to keep Corydoras catfish, adults or babies, in a community aquarium. And some persons might disagree with me for that, because they might say that Corydoras catfish are really awesome in storing up the substrate and ensuring that things are, you know, managed properly by getting the waste within the gravel or within the sand. But the thing is that, did you know that Corydoras catfish also consume fries from other fish? So if you have some live bearers within your aquarium space and you put some Corydoras catfish in that space, you will find that you will probably not see any fries, right? Reason for that is because the Corydoras catfish, which is nocturnal, will actually consume the fries at night. And this even become a little bit more agonizing when you have egg-laying fish, even cichlid, within your aquarium space. Whenever the fish is, like, you know, out of it in the night, the Corydoras catfish will actually steal the egg, consume it, and there will be no egg the next day. So I advocate for species only aquarium. It is hope that this video was of interest to you. Join me next time as I share in another episode of Just Rally on Fish Keeping Jamaica. Peace out. Catch you next time. Nice speaking to you.